So anyway, I was had this job interview, and it was for this mirror shop, and I asked them, they asked me rather, sorry, do you want to, why are you want to work here? And I was like, well, you know, working on mirrors and developing that is something I can really see myself doing. Oh, hey, hi there, guy.
Oh, sorry. It seems we've been caught.
Doubles tournament, Bizarre Adventures versus Team Storytime. It's gonna be, of course, Lifdoff and Sirius versus Muffin and Dedew. We are slated for an absolutely amazing match here today. Clean. We had an average match finish time in the Swiss rounds of 25 seconds. And then about 1 minute 13 difference between them if you include both Swiss and the brackets. So obviously these two teams are very well matched. And we're going to be in for an exciting match here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful day for racing today, as we're gonna have just two juggernaut doubles teams battling their way into best of three. This is gonna be just so unbelievably hype what we're going to showcase here today. I think both runners have done just tons of extensive prep to be ready for this moment, because certainly at least for Team Storytime, because they just had their semis match the previous day, so they were able to come away with the win there to get them themselves here, while Bizarre Adventures had a week of prep, so they're definitely, there've been a lot of randoing happening on both teams. So the best question is, what kind of seeds are our runners going to expect to want, or how are they going to communicate, where they're going to need to track down those relics as quickly as possible to come away with the win. And game one is a pretty pivotal game for a best of three series like this, isn't it, Shafe?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to sort of set the tone and make sure that you've got the lead just from a mental stack perspective, right? You take the first game, you start to get in the groove, you start to build some confidence, and you're able to sort of ride that into game number two, and you get the nerves out of your system and all that. And I know Muffin in particular does talk about the race nerves that he undergoes a lot of the time. So I think for Team Storytime, it's going to be not necessarily like super critical on that basis, but it definitely something that's going to be able to help them settle down.
Yeah, so we'll be giving our runners just about 1 minute head start here to start down the countdown. So we'll be ready to go. And yeah, so as you said, it's best of three scenario. So I think Muffin's kind of notes that he said from last yesterday's match in preparation for this said, hey, we did lose to Bizarre Adventure in week 4, but we had, we were evenly matched against them. We were kind of tied with them. It came down to a Sunstone Shard hunt at the end of it. So it was pretty tough, being able to catch back up at time, especially with a helpful forlorn TP. And I think for a best of three scenario for Muffin to do coming into this matchup, they did lose to them in the Swiss, but they still feel really good about their probabilities and their potential here to take potentially even just a 2-0 sweep. That's what Muffin was hoping for, at least when he said in the post interview of last night's semis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think perhaps one thing to sort of keep an eye on here is just the sheer time that Muffin and Dedew have played together over the course of the years in various different doubles tournaments and just sort of for funsies as well. So they've got a lot of that sort of built-in chemistry, that communication that you need for a doubles matchup to be able to tell your partner where things are, and what sort of order you might want to peruse things in, how to divvy up the split for searching, because in doubles you do want to try and separate from your partners, or if it's possible go to different areas of the map so you can get as much information as quickly as possible. And Muffin and Dedew have been working together on that a little bit longer than Sirius and Liftoff have. So might be something to come down the pipe. It might just come down to execution in the final escape, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Want to see at least one of those. So game one about ready to go. Runners have been given the go-ahead. You can see the relics there on the screen on all the various different trackers. You can see the time counting down, and we are go. Finals hype, the name of the seed. Thank you, 2Kill, who is our referee for this first match. And what are we looking for here in the early going clean? Do you want to see just sort of like a slow burn seed where you get wall jump and sea flame? Or are you looking for like a double power skill start here?
I want something that really tests our runners. We've had like so many interesting starts. We've already got climb, I guess. So there you go. I didn't have much time to prep for what I wanted because we see wall interaction right away. And this is a nice start. I think we're definitely going to see already potentially Blackroot if we are needing to. The second pickup will be very telling to see what kind of progression here we're going to get. Are we going to get a split with Glades and Blackroot, or we're going to get... Oh, no, we're going to get Sunstone Shard. That's very nice for our runners early going here. So they're not going to be able to... You know, the fewer the things that you need to, convey to your teammate that you need to go grab, the better for both these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of those things in the early going that can happen, I'm speaking from personal experiences, you get so resource starved and you're not necessarily used to tracking resources because that's just something that comes along. But we have seen seeds throughout this tournament where one team's been pretty low on health, or they're missing keystones heading into Ginzo or stuff like that. So having just sort of a back of your head calculation of where some of those resources are can also be really useful. It's not just necessarily about skills, events, relics, and all that stuff. So we do get the climb start. We are 1-3 on our way to the Triforce, and Liftoff and Sirius already going for the early split. Liftoff is going to be the one that's going to be exploring Blackroot. We do have a Water Vein shard here early for the Keystone door at Glades. We do not have Ghost Door possible because we don't have Keystones, but we do have Grenade, so 2 for 3 on the Triforce of Grenade jumps. And, of course, this tournament is being run on a QOL patch of the Randomizer, so free jumps are a thing.
Yeah, it's such an interesting start. We already have 2 crucial shards because if we are looking at the relic locations, which we haven't mentioned yet, we are running on the default for this tournament, which is Standard Shards World Tour 8. Including the Ginzo and Horror Teleporters, and we have noticed that there is no relic in Grotto, Swamp, or Sorrow, so we got 2 early game areas as well as 1, I'd say, later game left side area in Sorrow Pass, so those are definitely some interesting areas. That means all 3 dungeons. I just love to see that. You always love to see, and clean water.
Yeah, you're commentating, so obviously.
Yeah, I guess, don't worry about that. That makes the water just all nice. I mean, Dedew did just take a bath before this race, so this is feeling double the water.
Just wanted to make sure he gets the rest of that dirt off, so very nice. Did see Liftoff struggle a little bit with the climb ramp. That did allow Muffin to catch up somewhat, as they are both entering into Blackroot roughly around the same time, setting up for this first series of lanterns. All runners, of course, are going to have to go into Blackroot because we do not have anything else. No teleporters, no keystones to get into left glades, etc., etc. So a bit of a slow start, but it's always nice to have the blue breakage early, in particularly Grenade. Grenade, of course, locking some pickups throughout the game uniquely that cannot be accessed through anything other than Grenade. And Liftoff went for a climb ramp out to the experience there, left-hand side of your screen, and whiffed on it. Is going to drop down, probably communicate that to Sirius that he was not able to check that. And yes, indeed, Sirius is going to be going for that instead. I like that little small heads-up business from the runners. They knew that the pickup was missed. Another runner was right there to go ahead and check it, and so he did. And an immediate altar by Sirius because he has 2 keystones, getting that early separation and heading into Glades. I like this from Bizarre Adventurers.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice play. And, the immediate split. This is kind of the caliber of teams that we are facing here at this moment. They're like, as soon as we can split, the better. And honestly, this is such a comfy start. We've got Grenade already, one of the 2 hard lock skills. We've got Clean Water. That's huge for a ton of areas like Swamp. Even though there's no relic there, that's just such a nice area to not have to worry about. As well as, those later game swims that could just be such a pain to track down if you don't have Clean Water. So honestly, I feel like both teams have got to be feeling very comfy with this start going forward. We'll have to see. It looks like Dedew is actually going to stay with Muffin for the meantime, despite having 2 keystones. And Oh man, bottom left, Sirius. Oh, classic. Let's go. Got the little swing set there. Is not rewarded with too much, but oh man, we love the pulling out the shots already.
Hmm. Yeah, but
Ooh,
getting that
dash.
out of the way is dash, nice. Yeah, Muffin is going to be happy about that. So, we got one of the power skills here early, one of the zoomies, and I think that might be, yeah, indeed, liftoff does have that as well. Communicated that to Sirius, so obviously Sirius is backing out after doing the swing set pickup and is immediately going to be going and checking that. So a little bit of an advantage, I would say, for Team Storytime, as Muffin is going to be the first to enter into left glades here. But still very much in the early going. Both teams communicating very well, gathering their resources. This keystone here that Liftoff missed, unfortunately, had to backtrack for that, but has it now and will be continuing his trek over to left glades. The pickup, by the way, in the glades pool was just an energy cell. There was a health cell as well in Blackroot, so 4 HP. For the runners, gives them just a little bit more comfort. Not something they're going to have to worry about too much, I don't think, in this seed because of the clean water.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is kind of like a double-edged sword type of seed, right? Muffin and Dedew are like, we absolutely would love to see these power skills, but at the same time, you're facing Sirius and Liftoff, who are also just amazing at using power skills. So it's like, how many, how much do we want to give ourselves while also giving to our opponents? And I think at the end of the day, they're just super happy with the skill set that they have so far. This is going to be really nice. I guess we're still kind of looking for quote unquote actual access to the right side. I guess maybe an air dash path could be in our future.
For energy, for Death Gauntlet, perhaps. Teleporter.
Yeah, that's also an option. Teleporters. So many different things here. So we'll have to see what is being found in this main glades area. I reckon there'll definitely be some splits potentially, from the wall jump tree to spirit caverns and whatnot. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, runners are both, all four of them are knowledgeable about various different ways that they can break the game, of course. And, with Blue Break and Climb, you've got access, especially with that air dash, in order to get yourself through Spider Lake. So that might be all we see, is just a regular old Spider Lake trip. In the meantime, we're getting some new checks here from Muffin, who does find the Glades Relic there underneath the initial rock puzzle that you get, and is going to be trying to go for this little mini iceless ramp. I like this. He's got the Frankie in the way, does get the climb, but gets knocked down and decides to bail on it and kill the Frankie and just go pull the rock.
Yeah, that's a fair. The Frankie had a chair. It was dangerous. It was scary. Let's see on the top left. We're eyeing liftoff experience number, and yes, we'll be setting up for the Frankie walk. The Angel. I'm breaking out of here as soon as possible. And oh my goodness, we found charge jump in Glaze Loop.
And there you go. Muffin's happy. Muffin jumps, as I like to call them. And yeah, he's going to immediately use that. No surprise. Save a little bit of time jumping into the cutscene. Does remember to not go too far into it, otherwise you'll be stuck in the slow zone the whole way. As Liftoff is going to be doing the Frankie walk now. Top left, gets the setup with Magnet. Yes. Very used to seeing Magnet setups for that, and I was worried for a second whether or not he got Magnet, but he did. And he's going to be breaking into Grotto. Do expect him to basically hit that teleporter, maybe do a couple checks and go. The end of the Triforce, the charge jump, and to be able to get those grenade jumps as well. Sirius is going to be finding them for the Bizarre Adventures here in short order, as Dedew is currently just sifting around in Blackroot and finds the Blackroot relic right there above Marvin the Frankie.
He's working out so nicely for a runner. 8-minute grenade jump seed. What is happening in this first game? This is just absolutely crazy. We've seen now a mega energy on Muffin's side does not have to Frankie walk, and well,
that's a time save.
Yeah, so that's a nice time save there. We do find an energy cell here. I mean, the right side's open. There's no need to dwell on it anymore. We have just a crazy amount of ability to move around the game now. But what's interesting is that, the right side is two areas that are relicless, two pretty dense areas. So the biggest question getting into this mid game is how frequent and how dense are these teams going to route in those areas? Grotto, Swamp. Like, how much are they going to go for it, and how much are they just going to say, nah, that's not very. We're not prioritizing those areas.
Yeah, I mean, the moment you get left side access is the moment you start questioning, okay, what do I actually need to finish this seed from that point on? That's definitely going to be, knowing Muffin and Dedew, something that they're going to be considering immediately is, okay, do we have Bash for left side access where we can do a Frankie lure? If so, we've got rocket jumps. And we don't have to worry about Sorrow, so we don't need necessarily glide or double jump to help navigate that. So we could see here potentially a relatively low skill go mode once we find what our left side access is, and then from there it's just going to be a shard hunt. We do have 2 out of 3 water vein shards currently for Team Storytime as they collect their second in Death Gauntlet. A little bit of cleanup here in Glades, and Sirius is actually going top route through Spider Sack to get some extra checks here in Grove.
Yeah, this is gonna be a super nice area as well. I think check. We already found we found the Grove relic. So man, the relics are being so nice to us so far. We found Blackroot, Glades, and Grove. We're pretty much already done with the right side Groves, and we found a Valley TP in Death Gauntlet Roof, and immediately 10 minutes in, Muffin says, "I'm done. I'm headed to the left side." This is an insane play from Muffin here.
So there is a small, potentially massive problem here for Team Storytime in that they didn't double back to clean up Glades, and the ability cell above 4th health cell was actually a 3rd water vein shard. And Bizarre Adventures has that information. Storytime at the moment does not. Muffin is obviously not going to be going back there. He has been assigned the duty of immediately going to the left side. So the question is going to be, how thorough is Dedew? And if he doesn't go back for that, where are the other 2 water vein shards that he could potentially collect? Because if they miss that, they could find themselves falling behind very quickly.
Yeah, it all depends on how the seed wants to spill it out. For those unaware, you need all 5 water vein shards for the actual dungeon to be put in logic. So sometimes the game just has a new area open up and says, I'm just going to put all of water vein just there. And we've already seen 3, and they're in logic locations. So there's definitely a argument to be made that there is a potentially just more just around here. But yeah, that it's a gamble, and that is kind of what these runners are going to have to weigh in on the options with. And so now we also found a Sunstone shard on I believe Liftoff's screen. Yep, so he's got 2. So that's a second knowledge.
Yep,
and Horu Teleporter.
That was Glide Vault. Yep, Horu Teleporter at Fax, and Dedew is going straight into Grotto, so they are not going to know where that 3rd water vein shard is.
Yeah, that's definitely a critical moment. We'll have to see how thorough they get to be in this Grove as well as Grotto area. I mean, Muffin's already basically said, I'm going to the left side, is at least checking down in Lower Valley, because we do have a relic there. Can get all the way down to 4-lane approach, does not need to use the messy frog manip. So that's going to be nice for them, is checking out some Valley entry pickups from the rare left side. This is quite a fun way to trek into Valley entry. And so yeah, besides that, all of our runners are deep in the right side of the map with Liftoff and Dedew and Grotto, and Sirius up in the Grove main / swamp.
Yeah, a small death there from Liftoff is he got Crushy Channed. It does happen sometimes. You jump into the bottom of the Crusher and it just decides that the hurt box is going to get you. We have not had, by the way, Liftoff or Sirius clean out Death Gauntlet, so they do not have the Grove Relic. Potentially also a possible turning point. Okay, if Dedew cleans up Grotto, he is going to find a 4th water vein shard there down in Gumo's hideout bottom left side there. There was one in the plant. So doesn't seem as though that's going to come back to bite Team Storytime, depending on how thorough Dedew is. And I imagine just kind of looking for skills, different things to finish the game, maybe some extra shards as well. Still looking for a 3rd Sunstone shard. Although Dedew does have 2 and does know where the Horde Teleporter is, so doesn't necessarily need to be digging for that. So I will definitely be keeping my eyes over on Dedew and seeing how thorough he is in Grotto, because this could, with the left side access here this early via the Vala TP and grenade jumps, just be a really fast go mode for Team Storytime.
Yeah, we've already got skill go mode. We've got clean water. Don't have to worry about health for the final escape. The biggest thing is right now we need Gumon Steel shards. It's kind of the one shard that we haven't outright found access to. I think we've gotten 2 on Bizarre Adventures side, and then We have what else do we have? We have a horror teleporter, and well, we already found the Valley relic. It's in Valley entry, so that's not a problem. As now we have a Muffin heading through Misty.
Yeah. So we're gonna see Sirius actually collect his third water vein shard there in Grotto because he was closer to that one instead of doubling back to Glades. Nice little small heads up play there. We did get one Gumon Seal shard in the laser plant above the Grotto TP. Still no Forlorn teleporter that I saw. Muffin, in the meantime, is at Atsu's torch currently, the first cutscene there. Taking a look and continuing to dig in Misty. Again, we do not have relics in Grotto, Swamp, or Sorrow. So Muffin, with the health count that he has and grenade jumps, is going to be relatively comfortable, in particular with his experience in clearing out this area. As we're going to see, yes, indeed, Sirius goes into Death Gauntlet, gets the Valley TP, gets the Grove Relic as well, and is going to be starting, I think I saw that as a Valley TP. Yes, okay. So now we get left side from Bizarre Adventures as well.
Yeah, so no real big advantage, right? We've gotten Sirius being able to clean up and find the left side access, and we've got Dedew finding that third water vein shard. So outright, it's so hard to always to say, who's in the lead. I guess you could say just on a pure how far into the game they've gotten. Muffin is in Misty. Muffin is deep into the left side, and that is a nice split. Meanwhile, we do see Liftoff, though, is going to be the first into the Ginzo tree, and that is one of all 3 dungeons that we're going to need to trek to find the relic in.
Yeah, and Sirius just wants to get rid of the kill plane here, so he can check Lower Valley, and he's gonna find the Horror Teleporter at Fax, undoubtedly. I wouldn't be surprised if he digs down there with this skill set. That's in logic pretty quick. As you mentioned, Liftoff is in Ginzo. I would say that probably the central difference right now in terms of time spent has been that Sirius did more or less a full clean of Grove. And looking for that Grove Relic as he went through Spider Sack, while Team Storytime just happened to find the Grove Relic in Death Gauntlet Roof. So, on that front, that's sort of what's, I think, given Muffin the edge here and being able to get to Misty as quick as Team Storytime has, but by no stretch of the imagination. Oh, Sirius actually bails on heading down to Fax. He's going to join Muffin and Misty, and we've got a long dig ahead of us. We're already past the climb tree, so we know that the Misty Relic is buried fairly deep.
Yeah, Muffin is having such a hard time. He has no health and no energy. He's actually going to have to bail at this stage of the game. That is a super unfortunate thing. This part of Misty just has no health, no energy crystals to fill up on, and that is going to be an unfortunate backtrack there for Muffin. We'll have to see how Sirius acts. Actually has, I think, less health than Muffin. And man, we have 2 power skills, but man, this is such a tough Misty, and we are going to at least go to around the 4th keystone for our relic. And is the Misty relic ever early? I feel like it's never early. It's always late.
It's never early when you're racing. It's early when you're just playing solo. That's the way that it works. Sirius, notably, though, has double the energy that Muffin had, so he's got a lot more saves under his belt and a lot more possibility to bank energy off of energy crystals. Another Sunstone Shard in Ginzo, so even though they don't have the Horu TP, Bizarre Adventures is going to have access to Mount Horu via Ginzo, which is going to be a necessary climb anyway, because they're looking for a relic here, and they still haven't found it as they're heading up into the key dupe room. So possibly Misty Deep Relic, we know that for sure. Possibly Ginzo, Upper Ginzo, like in the escape for the Ginzo Relic there. So we actually could see some buried relics here in extension. Nope, never mind. Key dupe room has the Hardy Tuber. Liftoff immediately teleporting out of there. He has done his job, as Dedew is going to be finding said Sunstone Shard and Relic momentarily as well.
Yeah, so at the meantime, this is definitely. I mean, we've already found all the shard. We found another 3rd Gumon Seal in Ginzo, so we're all done. Shard hunting is no longer something that we have to worry about. It is relics, and it is going to the end. And this is just such a tense race right now. We have known locations of all of them except for Horu and Forlorn, and that is it. And we know the locations of every single other one, and we'll have to see how far they go in Upper Ginzo. I think they're just going to bail as soon as they get what they need, for sure.
Yeah, I think this race at this moment is going to come down to one of two things. It's going to be the fact that Sirius has a lot more resources in Misty, so he's able to continue, whereas Muffin and Dedew are, well, Muffin is going to have to do a revisit. But also, Team Storytime does not have the Horror Teleporter, which was at Fax, and has absolutely no reason to go dig for it. Um, at least I don't, yeah, because the Valley Relic was in Valley Entry, right? So uh, they will be taking the long way to Horu. With this skill set, thankfully, it's not a long trip, but still, it's something to keep an eye on in terms of the time difference here.
Yeah, we've got Sirius now. It's not here, so he has to continue on. Is probably setting up, yeah, for
What a cancel!
Oh
Oh my
man.
god! The grenade jump ramp into the cancel by Sirius. That was just beautiful gameplay. Trying to set up here on this corner to get the quick grenade jump up to the mortar shark and gets the angle first try after the first try in terms of actually, executing the jump. Did get killed by the mortar shark, but otherwise very cleanly done. Also gets the grenade jump up here. No, we are looking at either Lantern or Gumon Seal for the Misty Relic, which I think has been pretty thematic for this tournament, to say the least.
Absolutely. It is. Oh man, always, always this late. Never any earlier. We'll have to see. Sirius can get easily to both of those, so no longer is Misty a massive issue for Bizarre Adventures. I think the biggest question is, yeah, so I think which runner of Bizarre Adventures is going to take the dip into Lower Valley, potentially Forlorn Approach, because they will need to head to Forlorn at some point.
Yep,
We'll have to see how they route
locked.
that.
The
Nice.
Misty is grenade lock, yep.
There we
So
go.
thankfully we don't have to do the whole Gumon Seal trip, but that is a very, very deep Misty Relic. Liftoff notably does not have the same resource count that Sirius did because of Sirius's Grove sweep. Got him a lot of energy and health, so he's only got 5 health and 4 energy here to deal with. So not in the best position to necessarily be going into Misty straight away. Be interesting to see how he routes this. Does find another health zone. He wants to keep that absolutely with the Altar now that we have emulating the Will of the Wisps teleport. Is freely able to collect that health cell and back out and have a little bit of cushion for heading into Misty. Liftoff, of course, a talented runner, could make this work on 6 HP. Does have, I believe, that 6 ability cells as well, so some room for some save anywheres if he needs to zombie ori his way through. But yeah, I would say we're looking at teams. Bizarre Adventures needs to find that Valley Relic, which they still haven't yet. And Team Storytime has the Horror Teleporter.
Yeah, this is very critical. Liftoff's actually going the long way, heading up here with the Stompless AC, Fast Stompless, the Bird Boss, etc. So we'll be eventually tracking that down, but it's taking the long way. And at this level of the game, it's crucial seconds as we find Charge Flame, a random skill just chilling there.
Oh, double jump, nice.
Ooh.
That's Stompless AC.
All right, that's actually very, very interesting. It's going to help Liftoff quite a bit in Misty. I definitely.
At this point, he doesn't really need to worry about the health or energy. He's got what he needs to be able to do Misty, and I think he's just taking he's just going straight back into Valley without doing the altar here because he has grenade jumps and it's fast. Oh, if he might be going lower, he might end up finding the Horror Teleporter here for Bizarre Adventures. That could be huge.
Yeah, although despite already having access to the dungeon, just the teleport just saves like a minute at least.
Yeah.
And we found a wall jump in Horu. That's the Muffin is the first one to trek into the Horu dungeon, while Dedew is the first one to trek into the Forlorn dungeon. So we got dungeon on all the right side. And so breaking it down, the biggest things for this late game is going to be where's the Horu relic? How far high up is it? Is it stomp locked? That's the
stomp locked. Yeah, that's what I was thinking because we don't have glide for the Forlorn escape. We know Muffin is 100% capable, especially with this amount of health, of doing a grenade jump Forlorn escape if he really needs to dig for that stomp clue. So that could be a potential twist for this race. Seeing who's willing to do a grenade jump Forlorn escape. Oh, never mind. There's stomp. Dedew finds it in Forlorn. Don't need the clue. GG, I guess, to do. Just looking for the Forlorn Relic, though, and then they're pretty much off and ready to go. Sirius did want to dip to go get double jump, and ended up deciding that with the Horu TP down at Fax, he could just go ahead and bypass that. Didn't need to go digging for a double jump afterwards.
So right now we're just seeing state of the race. I'd say the biggest thing is that Sirius has the Misty Relic, and that is just a deep relic. That is such a long trek. So that's just a small advantage. Liftoff will still need to go back there, though, to go grab it. And next, it's going to really just come down to how deep is the Horror Relic. How far up we're going to have to trek. Dedew and Muffin literally yesterday had a R1, no bash, no double jump, Horror Relic. So they're very comfortable and they know what to do when the scenario comes up.
Oh, my bad. I misread Sirius when I glanced away. He actually did decide to go all the way to get double jump, and did have an extra double jump that was above Sea Flame Tree, and I believe he's the only one that has that. So he actually has triple jump for free, which is going to make traversing Horu quite easy for him. Liftoff does have double jump here as well, and is going to be trying to go for this L4 grenade jump. Does just climb onto the ledge. Very well done from Liftoff. Does not have stomp, though. So may have to do that again if the relic ends up being buried below this. It's just a mega energy here.
Yeah, I think it's setting it now for the door warp for L4. Can't get the peg, but can check the other XP. I mean, Sirius will find Stomp in just a second and be like, oh, you should probably go grab this before doing your Horu trek, because that'll make it a lot better that the odds that you don't get stomped. And on the bottom right, oh, the Fritter is chilling on the escape. How beautiful.
What they might end up doing is they might just have Sirius do L4 instead, and Liftoff will just start checking other rooms or head to Forlorn now. So yeah, we're going to see at the very least all the runners hit the Forlorn escape. I really just kind of want for the memes to see Muffin do the grenade jump Forlorn escape, but he has no reason to. He has grenade and stomp. But yeah, I think the double jump for Horu, given that we don't have bash or glide, is potentially, depending on where the relic is in Horu, a contentious advantage for Bizarre Adventurers for sure.
Yeah, we do have wall jump, so we have some ways to at least climb up like that. Those walls in Horu that kind of, they get hotter the more you're on them, and then they start to take damage. I just learned from experience last night, doing that with just climb is absolutely terrible. So
it's awful. Yeah, it's nightmare fuel.
Oh man, so they at least have that. They have wall jump so they can jump off of the wall. This is the level of runners that we're having to speak on. Small advantages like that, just being potential massive for the state of the race. So now as we're looking kind of, if we can kind of peer on each of the relics counters for every player, we've got 5 out of 8 for Sirius, 4 out of 8 for Liftoff. Muffin's got 5 out of 8, and looks like Dedew's got 6 out of 8, I believe.
But knowledge on where all of them are except Horu.
Exactly, and they don't have Misty. They know Misty's late, but they don't have Misty yet because Muffin had the unfortunate mess.
Yeah. Sirius does though. He's communicated that to Liftoff, so that's just a matter of going and getting it. But they do have the knowledge advantage of where it is, and of course, Team Storytime knows that it's fairly deep in. So they know they're going to have to go fairly far as well. But I really do like having that double jump from Mount Horu. Do want to know L4 Stomp cutscene was not the relic. It was a health cell, because that is the relic right there. In R3, I think that is?
R4, it's the R4.
R4. Yeah, the breakable thing with the shooty elemental.
So this is huge. Dedew's on Dedew's go mode. Dedew is on his last trek. He has to go all the way to Misty. That is just such a long one, but is going to be done after that. Meanwhile, I think the biggest thing is, how is Sirius going to do his Horu searching? Because just has to get this one and then the Blackroot one, which is a very easy relic. It's just near the boulder escape. So, man, that's going to be super, super close for determining who's going to be the first finishers. And
and remember, we do average the runner's time, so the faster somebody finishes, the better position their teammate is in as well. Sirius did want to just do a quick door warp check on the L4, found that hell cell with the stomp, and is going to be, he's going to be heading into R4, and he's going to find his horror relic in short order. I would bank. Oh no, Sirius, why? You can just stomp the floor. No, you didn't even save. You have to do that grenade jump again. Okay, never mind. You just nailed the grenade jump that time. Check it, Sirius. No, Sirius, why?
He's it's fair because I think the elementals, like, they're easier to kill once you've done this cutscene. It's just the unfortunate thing. Muffin's having a little bit of trouble as well grabbing that horror relic, which is a little interesting. Is going for the lower pickup. Dedew might have like said it's on R4, but I have such adrenaline that I kind of forgot which one it was.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that. Maybe I'm just straight up misremembered it, possibly. At this point, when you're on skill go mode so early with grenade jumps, it's hard sometimes to keep your mental stack and your communication like as top notch as you want it to be. And Muffin does check that lower pickup, so he is going to find the relic here, and we do have Sirius now doubling back for Bizarre Adventures to pick up his Black Root relic. Is that? Yeah, that's his last, I think. And then he will be. Wait, doesn't he have? Is his tracker wrong, or am I just misreading it? Because it looks like he has the Black Root relic.
It might be a delayed tracker. I think he's gonna pick it up here in just a few seconds. So Sirius actually is probably most likely going to be the first to finish, but on the same span, Liftoff has to do the entirety of Misty and Horu and Grove. So this is gonna be close.
Well, thankfully the Grove one is easy, right? It's just you go to Death Gauntlet and then you warp to wherever it is that you want to go next. But yeah, the Misty and Horu, I think the double jump is going to not be as advantageous as I was initially thinking it might be, given the location of the Horu relic, but it is 100% going to make his Misty a lot easier, and he's just able to beeline right through here, not going to have the necessity to place all these saves or grab onto walls like Dedew is here, taking a bunch of damage trying to get this drop down. Doesn't have enough for ultra defense either. Gets the weave onto the wall that time. Very nicely done. And the redirect off the nade jump, he has just enough energy for the charge dash over to be able to salvage that one. Very nicely done from Dedew.
Yeah, so eyes on the bottom left. Sirius is the first one that's going to be in the final escape for our runners. Meanwhile, all the others are in Misty, tracking on the Misty relic. That early Misty play was definitely huge. Both runners did it, but Muffin had to unfortunately leave because, man, the health and energy was so starved in this area. Is actually activating Kuro here for Sirius. Is going to have to set up, let's see, is the Sirius is off? Oh, no!
Oh, that sucks.
It did warp skip too. That's a huge loss of time for Bizarre Adventures. We'll be setting up again for the second attempt. It does have a bit of time, obviously, the cushion of being able to have the first finisher, but it's going to be about that average. This average is looking so close.
And the pressure that you put on yourself with that kind of a miss, especially when you have double jump, like, that's not something that you enjoy missing ever, but when you have double jump, like in a race situation, you're like, how did I miss that? This time on the setup, he does have triple jump. It should be good to get the wraparound, and does this time. Yep, so he's cleanly through here, has enough health, isn't going to get Sigma rocked, and is on his way. Also, Liftoff is not going to have to check some of these extra pickups that Team Storytime is, like that experience there, and the Keystone off next to the Mortar Shark. Which Muffin wasn't able to do earlier, so that's a little bit of time that Team Storytime is going to have to spend that Liftoff won't. But a little bit of spaghetti here from Liftoff as well in Misty. Perhaps not going quite as fast as he would like. You mentioned it, that average might come into play huge as Muffin picks up his Misty relic behind the grenade lock pickup and is 8 for 8 on the way to Horror Escape.
Yeah, and Dedew will be right behind. Already found the horror one, found it first, and was able to track down the others as well. So Sirius finishing first with a time, a 33 seed with the doubles World Tour 8 shards. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is just a banana seed, honestly.
Yeah, so the pressure is on to do in Muffin. Now, no, I believe, because I have race time of that one runner has finished, but Liftoff, man, still has to do so much to potentially get the last 2 relics that he needs. It is going to be quick, but is it going to be too much?
Going for the fast Mortar Shark kill setup there is Muffin, I believe, discovered by Jamal, if I'm correct. And yeah, Liftoff is just going to be able to go through here quite cleanly, but it is going to be Dedew and Muffin both starting the final escape at roughly the same time. So a very fast finish by Sirius, but kind of hampered by Liftoff, unfortunately, having to take a little bit of extra time, couple costly deaths. Hopefully, that whiff in the final escape by Sirius doesn't come back to bite the average, but we will see. As Dedew is setting up for the grenade jump through the Bash Lantern room, gets it cleanly, falls down the wall, charge dashes his way to break it, sets up for the grenade jump, and is through. Floating down, just takes the hit on the water as he's got a mega health coming into this. Clean water, of course, as well. Sea flaming the fish to get away. And climbing up, Muffin is setting up for the elemental room. Gets hit, though, as Dedew's actually going for the G-jump setup across. Does not spawn Kuro as well, so he is all the way up at the top. Will get through the escape first try. And is through. Now Liftoff is going to be heading to Mount Horu as well. Finish that up.
This is going to be incredibly close. Muffin now in the final escape is grenade jumping up. Gets the little bonk there. That's totally fine. Has to just reset up. Does not have to worry about the bash left. A classic strat. Does get it. All right. We have both Team Storytime in the final escape. Liftoff. It's going to come down to Liftoff's escape. I do believe it might just come down to Liftoff's final escape.
Yeah, he doesn't have a ton of time to work with here. We're going to get Dedew's finishing time is 35:20. Muffin's is 36:29. So we're looking at roughly a 35:50 average for that, which does give Liftoff a bit of a cushion, but he's got to go. This has to be a flawless final escape for him, maybe even with a warm skip, but he doesn't have the energy for the save, so he's just going to jump up and start the cutscene. And to your point, by the way, earlier you were mentioning that Muffin and Dedew might know what's happening with the finish times. Muffin will tend to close race time towards the end of the seed, and I'm sure would communicate that to Dedew that he doesn't want to know. So Muffin probably had no idea that Sirius was already finished. Dedew might have, though. Dedew might have.
Yeah. This is going to be super, super close. Liftoff already takes 1 death in the escape, is now setting up here, has to grenade jump, setting over the fire pillar. Nicely done. Has so much health. Is that a mega health? I think it is. That is just such an absurd amount of health. Gets the second grenade jump, has double jump, can just jump over those fiery pits of death, and also has a very nice set of clean water. Is going to be heading into this final room. Let's see how he goes for it. Just the double jump, triple jump. Oh man, that was so
almost
close.
Spawned. Oh my god, that was scary. 35:54 average for Storytime. Liftoff needs to nail this. It's going to be close. He will come in just at or slightly over the 38 mark. We are getting word that 38:18 finish for Liftoff would tie, so that should be good for Bizarre Adventurers to, in an extremely close race, less than 20-second separation on the averages, close this one out and secure the win. What a first match. Holy crap.
That was just nuts. I couldn't believe what I was watching. 20... What, I don't even know what the average difference is. We need to get that. We'll get that in a second.
38:02. Yeah, we'll get the calculation here from our crew, our truck team that's going to be helping us out here. Of course, we got 2Kill, the Ref, Truckers, Infinite, and Turtle are on with us for game 1. And we have Lion with a preliminary 8-second average advantage. I'm not going to do math on stream. I have learned my lesson before.
We have a 35-46 to a 35-54. Are you kidding me?
8 second difference in game 1. Are you ready for game 2? Cause holy crap, this is gonna be a wild one.
Oh Man, it is always 8 seconds. The Ori length of
Yeah,
all time
8,
ever.
right?
Oh man, what? I don't even know what to say. Are there even words that explain this? What a seed, right? The absolute shenanigans of the late Misty, the grenade jumps. That was nuts.
I'm kind of wordless. That's actually, it's like for a doubles. I don't think I have personally seen a closer doubles match than an 8 second time separation. I'm sure in the history of Ori speedrunning as a whole, it's happened, but in a randomizer doubles, I am absolutely floored. Absolutely floored by this. All right, so I would not be surprised if the runners decide that they want to take a full 10-minute break for this one. Clean fell. Your final thoughts before we take a break ourselves and switch up crews for game number 2.
I mean, yeah, we said at the beginning. I mean, this first game is critical, setting the stage, setting the standard of what this series is gonna have to be. Team Storytime now has to come back and 2-0 the next 2 games in order to take this tournament. Bizarre just needs one more win. So, yeah, it's absolutely setting crucial, like what is going to be setting the stage, setting how they're going to feel about the seed. I think definitely, nerves putting in, being on game point, being on tournament point, as well as team story time, the nerves of, having to come back in a situation like this is going to be absolutely huge. I absolutely cannot wait to see what's going to be happening in the next 2 games potentially.
Yeah, and we had talked about it off at the top of the broadcast as well. Having that first game under your belt does a lot to settle down your nerves. You can feel like you got a little bit more relaxation, not necessarily, take your time going through the seed, but you don't feel quite as pressured heading into game 2. So definitely something to keep an eye out on and to maybe ask the players about afterwards. In the meantime, we're going to take a break along with the runners to get ready for game number 2. Clean fell as always, sir. A pleasure to commentate with you. We're going to have Lester as our referee. J Mall is going to be joining me on comms for game 2. Truckers are going to be J Hall. Clean fell is going to be continuing to work. He's switching off to truck. And we'll see you in a little less than 10 minutes for game number 2.